Excuse me, Dr. Watson, but a message has come from Mr. Holmes. Good gracious, what's that smell?
It's one of his experiments.
Well...
Ah, Mrs. Hudson, have you come about the collection of the dirty dishes you left after last night's supper? You'll find them in the kindling box.
No, she's got a message for you.
Then read it to me, please. Both of my hands are occupied at the moment. And then remove the plates, if you please.
Well...
You already said that. The message?
Here, Doctor.
Yes. Well, it says, to Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I am in possession of information too delicate to entrust to the police, but which must be addressed before any more women like me are victimized. Trusting in your discretion, I request an audience with you at the earliest moment. I shall await your reply, and am prepared to come whenever you can see me. And it's signed J.S.
The messenger is waiting, Mr. Holmes.
And so am I, for the process of fulmination, which should take place right now.
On earth? Oh, good grief, Holmes. The smoke up to the ceiling. I'll get a window open.
Really, Mr. Holmes, do you know what you're doing with that mess?
I know precisely what I'm doing. What you have just witnessed will advance the science of crime investigation by years, and it was first performed under your roof. Now, tell the messenger 12 o'clock noon. That should give me time enough to put things right. And do take the dishes away, Mrs. Hudson.
I tried to come for the dishes last night, but you were playing your violin so loud you didn't hear me. First it's noises from the fiddle, and now it's stink from your chemicals. I don't know how much more a body can take. I truly don't.
Now, let's have a look at that message, Watson.
Here you are.
Yes.
Well, do you think it's anything interesting?
Oh, certainly. It's most provocative. Here we have a well-educated woman, a strong woman, unmarried and independent, not accustomed to appealing for help, especially from men.
You got all that from the note?
Yes, Watson. The words have one message and the paper and ink have another. Help me clear away these things. Her language is direct. None of the apologetic manners of a stranger begging help from a professional, as I've seen so often. She requests rather than begs an audience. Businesslike and formal. No, this is a strong and purposeful individual. By the way, try not to shake the fluid in that tube.
This tube?
Yes. Put it in the corner of the box and put that cotton round it. There's a good fellow. Now, as to the note itself, she wrote it rapidly. The pen slashes show that she didn't linger over the composition, and the paper is of high quality with a high rag content. And it has just a faint smell of lavender, which means that the writer, for all her assertiveness, still has feminine characteristics.
Yes, but what do you make of the...
Careful there. The grey dust from the explosion will eat your skin away if it gets wet. Another characteristic I expected for our new client is punctuality. Come in, Mrs. Hudson.
This is the lady who has an appointment with you, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, indeed. Do come in.
This is Mr. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson.
How do you do? Thank you for seeing me.
That will be all, Mrs. Hudson. Thank you.
Won't you take a seat, madam?
I won't take much of your time, so I prefer to stand.
As you wish.
Which one of you is Mr. Holmes?
I am Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, well, due to the nature of my situation, I would prefer to share it with the fewest possible people.
Dr. Watson is a physician as well as my trusted associate. We work together.
Dear lady, please have no concern that I may...
Very well, if I must, then I must. Here is my problem. Well, if it were only my problem, I would bear the shame in private and never speak of it to another person. But since a friend of mine has suffered the identical experience, I know it's my duty to help put a stop to it.
And so let us begin by being totally and completely candid, starting with your name.
Jean Sampson.
Watson, will you please write down these particulars?
Must he?
He must. Now, your problem. In minute detail, Miss Sampson, and from the very beginning, if you please.
Well, I work for the family publishing house, and I'm an editor. Perhaps you can understand why I'm reluctant to have anyone take this down. The written word is rather indelible.
And transferable, but you must rely upon us to respect your privacy. No one will see Watson's notes except me.
All right. To get to the point, I met a man.
Ah.
It's not as you may think. He was an author. Or, well, he brought in a manuscript which he said he'd written. I read it. It was charmingly done. Memoirs of an English lad brought up in California. It needed a good deal of work, but the core of it was good.
The man's name?
Robert Mason. His story was about Indians and cowboys and the gold rush, not original subjects, but nicely treated. We decided to publish it, so I was obliged to work with Robert on a daily basis.
And?
And we began to see each other socially. He seemed the perfect gentleman, and we got on quite well. And in time, he proposed marriage.
And did you accept?
Yes. I hadn't expected to marry. I'm educated, enjoying more independence than most women. I'm an only child, so Father pinned his hopes for maintaining the family's fortunes on me, and that's where the shame of it comes in. After our engagement was announced, one day Robert took me to see a house that he'd found, a true honeymoon cottage, and it was perfect, a dream of a place.
Then you liked it?
I loved it, but can you afford it?
Well, when I knew I'd found the girl of my dreams, that's you, Jeannie, I wired to the States for my money. It's in a bank in San Francisco. I have nearly $10,000 there.
My goodness.
But poor old Dad, he got things mixed up somehow, and now I have to sign a release form to authorize the shipment of silver certificates to the Bank of England, and it's apt to take weeks to get here. And I'm afraid I may lose the house if I can't pay the agent. So I hate to bring it up, but, Jean...
Yes, dear?
Do you suppose your father could advance us the money to put down on the house, just until my money arrives? It'll be just temporary, and this way we can start married life in our own little nest.
Well, you can imagine what happened. Father handed Robert £1,000, and that was the last I ever saw or heard from him.
The blackguard.
And after he disappeared, Father and I drove to the house to see if it was still available, and there was someone else living in it. They said they'd never heard of Robert Mason.
Do you have a photograph of him?
No.
Do you still have his manuscript?
Yes.
Excellent. I want to see it immediately. Now, what about this friend of yours?
Emily Calkins.
What happened to her?
Almost the same thing. Will you try to help her, too?
His name is Peter Sidney. We were to be married in June. His parents live in Canada, and Peter needed the money to pay for their passage to come to the wedding, so I gladly lent him £1,500. He was only a loan, and I never heard from him again. Oh, I feel such a fool.
I know I shall never trust another man again.
How did you meet Peter Sidney, Miss Calkins?
At the literary circle.
What is that?
It's a charity. It pays for tutors to teach foreigners and the poor how to read. Emily and I both belong. That's how we met.
I take it the members are all rather well-to-do?
Well,
I wouldn't say well-to-do.
our parents all have money, though. We do have that in common.
Holmes took further information from the two women, and then we rode back to Baker Street. I thought he'd find the case of the two jilted women a bit trifling, but it turned out to be much more involved than it looked at the outset.
Poke up the fire a bit, will you, Watson? That's better. Took a bit of a chill in the cab.
Yeah. How are you going to go about solving this one, Holmes?
The one piece of evidence available to us is Robert Mason's manuscript. That is where I shall begin.
In the late afternoon, we were visited again by Jean Sampson, who brought Holmes the manuscript. Mrs. Hudson brought in hot tea and biscuits, and Holmes sat by the fire studying the huge stack of pages. Being something of a writer myself, I took an interest in the work, which was neatly written on lined copybook paper.
I wonder if he wrote it or got it from someone else. Have you a sample of Mason's handwriting, Miss Sampson, other than the manuscript?
Let me think. No, I don't think so.
No love notes you might have saved?
No, Mr. Holmes, there was nothing to save. And if there had been, I would have burned it.
Then first thing in the morning, I need you to contact all the publishing houses in London and inquire if any of them have seen this same manuscript. Does it have a title?
Yes, A Britain in the Gold Rush. But, Mr. Holmes, there are nearly 100 publishers in London.
Then Watson will be glad to help. Give him half your list. We must make haste, Miss Sampson, before the culprit swindles any more women.
Fortunately, most of the 37 firms on my list were located along Fleet Street, and I was footsore when, at well past tea time, I limped back up to our rooms, having found no one who'd seen the manuscript. Holmes? Holmes, are you here? What's this? A note on the gasogene. Now, how would he know I'd be wanting to mix myself a whiskey? Now, what does it say? Meet me at Sheldrake Arms, Oaken Road, Diston, and bring your notebook. Now, enjoy your whiskey. Ah, there you are, Holmes. What? Oh, I say. And Miss Sampson, I didn't know you'd be here.
Mr. Holmes thinks we're on to something and asked me to join him.
Sit down, Watson. I'll order you a pint.
Well, I wore out my shoes for nothing. Nobody I talked with had ever seen the manuscript.
But I had better luck. Regency Press was offered it, and they turned it down. Only it turns out the manuscript wasn't really Mason's at all. When Regency looked at it, the author was a Professor Murdoch.
Ah, Mason stole it then.
Professor Murdoch teaches at Calverton College, a public school which is situated a stone's throw from where we are sitting at this moment.
Then you know the school?
Never heard of it until today, but the barmaid has been most instructive. Yes, over here, my dear.
Hello, love. What'll it be?
Bring him a pint of your brownest ale, my girl.
Coming right up.
She is a delightful fountain of gossip. She says Calverton is small and expensive, with a clientele largely made up of rich men's sons who couldn't earn the marks for the better universities. According to her, they bestow diplomas to anyone who can write a large enough cheque. And furthermore, she says Professor Murdoch is a regular patron here at the Sheldrake. He usually happens by after his last class of the day, along with some of his students.
Yes, but how does this get us any closer to Robert Mason?
It's the manuscript that links the professor to Robert Mason. If Murdoch showed his manuscript to another publisher and Mason showed it to Miss Sampson, unless Mason stole it, obviously he and Murdoch know each other.
Yes, I could have figured that out.
But you don't suppose this Murdoch will give you the goods on Mason, do you?
He might not talk to Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective, but he should very much wish to talk with Sir Hugh Courtney, sole proprietor of British Heritage Press of Coventry.
Who? I've never heard of British Heritage Press.
Sir Hugh, at your service.
How's that?
You're going to pretend you're a publisher?
A publisher with a great desire to print his book. A book Miss Jean Sampson was about to throw in the dustbin.
Well, you needn't tell him that.
No, indeed. I want him to believe every word I say. And when you blend 10% truth with 90% fiction, it makes the fiction sound more like truth.
I know, but I don't...
Will you be wanting anything to eat?
Not just now, thank you. But I would like to ask a small favour. I need to know if and when Professor Murdoch comes in.
Well, you're in luck. He just walked through the door not a minute ago. You'll find him up front of the bar with some of his boys.
Here's a sovereign, my girl. Come back in a minute and describe the professor and the boys for me, will you? Tell me what they're wearing so I can surprise them.
Oh, yes, sir, right away. I'll be quiet as a cat on a mouse.
What are you up to, Mr. Holmes?
I want you to stay in this booth while I talk to Murdoch.
Alone? You want me to sit here alone?
Actually, Holmes, it would look better if I were to stay here with her. A lady shouldn't be unaccompanied.
If you are thinking it's necessary to protect me, please understand that I am a businesswoman, and I deal with reality on a daily basis.
Businesswoman. Well, never heard that term before.
I'm not concerned with protecting you, Miss Sampson. I need Watson with me to complete the impersonation. Watson, I'll introduce you as my editorial assistant. You'll have nothing to say except to agree with me. And here comes our barmaid.
The professor is wearing a plaid scarf. The other two are dressed like young bankers.
Young bankers?
Like toffs, you know, posh.
I see. Thank you. You've been most helpful.
Another point all round.
I followed Holmes to the front of the inn, where the party the barmaid had described was seated around a table. The three men were just raising their mugs in a toast when we arrived. They paused and looked up at us.
Yes, something we can do for you?
Oh, I do hope we're not interrupting. I'm looking for an author, Professor Murdoch.
I am Ian Murdoch. And who might you be, sir?
Sir Hugh Courtney, owner of British Heritage Press.
Oh, a publisher.
Yes, but I fear we've intruded. Perhaps my editor and I can call on you at a more convenient time.
With no time like the present, Sir Hugh. Boys, find a couple of chairs.
No, we really can't
Well,
stay.
you've come at a most propitious time, gentlemen. One of my students is about to take himself a bride. Now, where is that girl, Peter?
She's shopping. She'll be here directly.
Now, perhaps you'll tell me which of my humble scribbles interests you, Sir Hugh.
The title is A Britain in the Gold Rush.
Oh, that one.
May I ask where you saw that manuscript?
I rescued it from the dustbin of a fellow publisher who'd rejected it.
Well, this is indeed a happy surprise.
If you will give me your card, I'll send our barrister round to work out the details. But now we must let you get on with your celebration.
Tell me, what is the name of the person who rejected the manuscript?
Well, that's hardly important, is it, Robert? The important thing is the book will be published.
Subject naturally to the laws of the Crown relating to copyright. And now that we've found you, there is just one other member of our firm who I'm sure would like to meet you. John, will you go back to our table and bring our associate?
Oh? Oh, yes, indeed. I'll be right back.
Now, I'm curious, Sir Hugh. How did you manage to find me?
You may not believe this, but I employed the services of Sherlock Holmes.
I believe you're serious.
Oh, I am. Quite serious. Mr. Holmes was retained by a woman who had been defrauded by a despicable sort of fellow. Holmes reasoned that there was a connection between that thief and another chap who had done much the same thing to another woman. And through his remarkable powers of deduction, Mr. Holmes saw that there had to be a third conspirator and even a fourth.
Peter, I'm back. I'm sorry I took so long. The shops were crowded. Oh, am I too late for the party?
No, dear. The party's off. Why don't you go on back to the flat and wait for me?
Oh, and what's he doing here?
This is Sir Hugh.
Look, chaps, I really have to go.
Would this be the bride-to-be?
No, yes, not really, my dear. You must run along.
And here she is, Holmes.
Just in time.
Holmes? Did you say Holmes?
Emily, what are you doing here?
Yes, it's time to take off our masks. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is my associate, Dr. John H. Watson. And the lady with us is my client, Miss Sampson. Of course, you all know that.
So, Robert, did you ever buy our honeymoon cottage?
I don't know her. I've never seen her before.
And Peter? It is Peter, isn't it? From the literary circle?
I'm not saying anything. Come on, Emily.
Wait. So you were in on it too, Emily, were you? Were you part of the scheme?
And what if I was, Jean? You have plenty of money. You can always buy another friend.
Facing criminal charges, Robert Mason and Peter Sidney wilted under Holmes's questioning.
The plan wasn't ours. I didn't think it up. Neither did Peter.
No, the whole idea came from Professor Murdoch. We were failing our grades, you see, and then he said he had a way to be sure we passed.
So he taught you how to steal £1,000 from Miss Sampson. How much was his share?
Half.
But he did give us passing grades.
And why did you select Jean Sampson as your victim?
Oh, that was Emily's job.
Here, leave her out of it.
Emily joined the literary circle to get to know who had money and who was unmarried, correct?
That's all she did.
And the story Emily told Miss Sampson about your stealing her money?
Murdoch made it up so Jean would trust her. Look, Emily and I have been sweethearts for simply ages. We were about to get married on our share of the money. Until Mr. Sherlock Holmes butted in.
Holmes turned the men over to the police, but Jean Sampson decided not to press charges against their accomplice, Emily Calkins. I fear I shall never fully understand women, or the greed that drives some men. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this story, and I have another Sherlock Holmes adventure for you, when next we meet.
You've been listening to The Further Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, featuring John Patrick Lowry as Holmes and Lawrence Albert as Watson. The characters of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson were created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and may be found in books and stories by him. Use of these characters on radio is by arrangement with the estate of Dame Jean Conan Doyle. In tonight's play, you also heard Lee Posh, Ellen McLean, Katrina Baxter-Hodiak, Frank Buxton, Todd Jameson, and me, Dennis Bateman. The story and radio script were written by Jim French, who also directs the series. Sound effects were created by Cheryl Jacobs and David Person. Our recording mixer was Jason Shavey. The broadcast originated before a live audience at the Kirkland Performance Center in Kirkland, Washington. Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, featuring John Patrick Lowry as Holmes and Lawrence Albert as Dr. Watson.
My name is Dr. John H. Watson. I don't believe I've ever told you the story of one of the first adventures that Sherlock Holmes and I ever shared, early on in our association. It was in May of the year 1881. We were much younger then. I was only 29 and Holmes 2 years my junior. Holmes had concluded the case I would later publish under the title A Study in Scarlet, so his name was quite unknown at the time. Well, at any rate, a few weeks after finishing that case, a rather fat envelope arrived at Baker Street, mailed from Paris and addressed to Sherlock Holmes.
What is this? It's stuffed with francs.
Good heavens, how much is in there?
Well. Listen to this, Watson. My dear Mr. Holmes, word of your skill as a civilian detective has reached me via an English friend, Inspector Gregson of Scotland Yard, who very much admired your assistance in solving a difficult case. He must mean the Jefferson Hope matter.
Generous of Gregson to mention you at all. I thought he and Lestrade took all the credit.
No, of a sorry pair, Gregson is the more honest of the two. I've known that all along. Well, back to the letter. A delicate situation is developing in a noble French institution which I direct. Reputations are at risk, so I dare not inform our police. If you will accept, it is urgent that you investigate immediately. The money is yours to keep, whatever your decision. I await your reply by telegram at the earliest hour. And it's signed Monsieur Marmont, 29 Rue de Lyon, Paris.
I say, he expects you to accept without knowing anything about the case. Well, it's a preposterous assumption.
Yes, quite preposterous, isn't it? How would you like to spend a few days in Paris, Watson, with money to spend?
Well, Holmes wired his acceptance despite some misgivings on my part, and we proceeded to pack for an undetermined stay in France. But fate had other plans. It seemed the Channel boats were fully booked with winter-weary Englishmen bent on a continental holiday. No sailings were available for a week. But we were able to book passage on a night boat which carried freight and mail with accommodations for only 6 passengers. Holmes and I took the last 2 berths on that evening's sailing. The evening was mild but cloudy as we arrived at the North Woolwich dock on the Thames, where a steam packet was taking on supplies. The name Dover Maiden was just visible on its hull. A man in a dingy uniform stood on the dock, marking off bundles and boxes being taken aboard. Across the brow of his cap, gold letters spelled out, Captain.
Watson and Holmes. Right, just go up this gangway. You're in cabin number 4.
Holmes and I went aboard the Dover Maiden and found our stateroom, if you could call it that, in the aft cabin house, which stood above decks at the stern of the ship and housed 4 small cabins and a dining lounge, which was furnished with a central table and 6 chairs, all secured to the deck. Just forward of the deck house stood a tall funnel, which had begun to belch smoke. Forward were the hatches over the cargo hold, and forward of that was another deck house where they steered the ship. The galley and crew quarters were below decks. I should say the ship was about 120 feet in length, with perhaps a 30-foot beam. A working vessel, this, with little in the way of amenities.
And which will you have, Watson, the upper or the lower berth?
I really don't care.
With that wounded leg of yours, hate to make you climb that little ladder.
Well, I don't mind a bit.
Of course, it's not as if we're going to spend the night in here.
Of course.
Well, good. I'll put my things up here for now. There. Well, should be cosy. Oh, come in. Ah, Captain.
Captain Charles is my name, and you would be Mr. Watson and Mr. Holmes.
Dr. Watson, actually. I'm a physician, and Mr. Holmes is a detective. A consulting detective.
Detective? Oh, I'll make a note of that. Now, we should be getting underway as soon as our missing parties show up.
Missing parties?
Yes, the Caspers, Mr. and Mrs. and her mother. As soon as they're aboard, we're off. Supper bell about 8. Should reach Calais before midnight. A pleasant journey, gentlemen. Glad to have you aboard.
I feel stifled in this room, Watson. I think I saw a couple of chairs on deck. What say we take the air?
Excellent idea.
Now, let's see if those chairs are still free. Ah, good.
They must have finished loading the ship.
Evidently.
Just waiting for the, no, what were their names?
Mr. and Mrs. Casper.
Oh, yes.
And here they come now, I should think, pushing the old woman in a wheelchair.
Yes. They have a well bundle, don't they? Hat, muffler, robe.
Pitifully weak. Her head nods with every bump.
Yes, well, muscle atrophy is common in the very aged. The daughter is pausing to talk to her. See if she's all right.
You may want to offer your services.
Well, there's little anyone can do about diseases of age.
Well, here they are at last. Ah, Jack, you made it. Need some help? No, we can manage.
Hello, Dorothy. Welcome aboard.
Hello, Mr. Trentham.
Want some help with that wheelchair?
No, thank you. I'm doing fine.
I was beginning to wonder if you were going to make it.
It took us a bit longer than we expected to fetch Mum and get her ready.
And is Eloise aboard?
Of course. She's in the cabin feeling seasick already.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Poor thing. Which cabin is she in?
We're in number 1, you'll be in number 2, and your mother will be in number 3.
I'll take her to her cabin right away. This is Mr. Trentham, Mum.
Good evening, ma'am.
She's very hard of hearing, Mr. Trentham. We'll get her comfortable in her cabin and make sure she's warm enough. Here we go, Mum. Have you tucked in nice and cozy in no time?
Oh, these cabins are awfully small, but beggars can't be choosers, booking as late as we did. Lucky I could get tickets at all. Ah, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And you'd be in cabin 4?
Yes, we have cabin 4.
Well, I'm Donald Trentham, and this is Jack Casper.
How do you do? I'm Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. John Watson.
Good evening.
Delighted to meet you both.
All right, cast off the bow, Lord.
On holiday, are you, gentlemen?
No, we're going to Paris on a criminal investigation.
Oh, you don't say. Are you the police?
I am a consulting detective, and I have been retained to investigate a case in Paris.
Oh, then you don't work for Scotland Yard?
No, as I said, I am a consulting detective.
The world's first and only.
Why, that's very impressive. Do you do that kind of work too, Doctor?
I help where I can.
Dr. Watson is entirely too modest. I wouldn't care to undertake any investigation without him.
Your mother-in-law is ill, I take it, Mr. Casper?
I'm afraid so. Has been for some time. We're taking her to Lourdes.
Oh, I see. Lourdes. For the waters.
For the miracles. People are being cured of all sorts of things. I don't know your position on these things, but we are a devout family, and our priest gave us his blessing for the trip, even if our doctor didn't.
And the Trenthams are going there with you?
No, I'm afraid my interests are commercial. I own a boot factory in London, and I'll be in France on business.
I see. Well, we'll be seeing you gentlemen and your wives at dinner, no doubt.
No doubt. Well, I'm going in. Are you coming, Jack?
Oh, yes, Donald. Come in. Gentlemen.
Well, Holmes, our cabin may be a third the size of one on an ocean liner, but at least I won't have to dress for dinner. I've had enough travel to last me a good while. But you seem to thrive on it.
I thrive on the study of people and circumstances. There is a story hidden beneath the shirt front of every man in the world. We have a visitor.
Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Casper.
May I come in?
Certainly.
I hope I'm not intruding.
Not at all.
This is most unusual, I know, but when you said you were a detective, I felt as if fate brought us together, in a manner of speaking.
How can I be of service?
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, I'm in fear for my life.
How so?
Do you promise not to say anything to anyone else?
If you like.
For years, I have worked faithfully for Trentham Boot Works. I put Trentham boots in some of the finest shops in England, and my wife, Dorothy, works in the head office as bookkeeper. We devote our lives to the company.
I see.
But lately, Donald Trentham has become, well, odd.
In what way?
He as much as accused me of stealing from the company. I handle domestic sales and collections, and they've been off a bit lately, but he'd rather blame someone than look to the competition.
I see.
But that's not all. He's also made remarks about me and his wife Eloise, completely unfounded.
What sort of remarks?
Trentham has a vicious temper, especially when he's drinking. And more than once he's driven Eloise to tears when she's been at the office. All I ever did was offer her some sympathy, a kind word here and there. But he chose to see something more, when there was nothing more to see.
Then why are the four of you traveling together?
And well, you may ask. We had a holiday coming, Dorothy and me, and we saved our pennies so we could travel down to the south of France and bring her mum to Lourdes, and I'd hoped to bathe along the French coast. Well, when Dorothy mentioned our plans to Eloise, Eloise wanted to come along with us, but Donald wouldn't hear of it. Apparently, he suspected she just wanted to be near me, which is outrageous. I wouldn't think of looking at another woman, much less the wife of my employer. Anyway, there was a terrible row between the two of them, ending up with him agreeing to come along and turn it into a business trip.
And what would you like me to do?
Just watch him, Mr. Holmes. I'm fairly fit, but he's half again my size and strong as an ox. And with his temper... Well, if anything should happen to me, I would appreciate it if you knew how the land lies.
I see.
All that Dorothy and I want is a quiet pilgrimage down to Lourdes and some relief for her poor mother.
I understand.
Mr. Casper, would you like me to look in on her?
Oh, that would be so kind of you, Doctor. Let me slip back to her cabin and see if she's awake. She spends a lot of her time sleeping.
Well, if you'd like me to visit her, just say the word.
I will. And thank you both for hearing me out. And please, not a word.
Our lips are sealed.
Well, what was that you were saying about a story behind every shirt front?
Yes. I had no hope for the hours we'll have to spend on this miserable little vessel, but now I look forward to every minute.
The Dover Maiden made its way down the Thames at a slow pace, for water traffic was a tangle and it was getting dark. We glided past docks and wharves and many vessels of all sizes. I stood on the narrow portside promenade where a deckhand was coiling a rope. From below, I could smell food being cooked in the galley. I'd been standing there only a few minutes when Holmes sauntered up.
Ah, there you are, Watson. We have another visitor in our cabin. Care to join me?
Who is it?
Mr. Trentham has taken me aside and asked for a private audience.
Oh?
We're about to hear the other side of Mr. Casper's story, I should think. He's waiting in the cabin right now, and I think he's had a bit to drink.
Good of you to see me. Good evening again, Doctor.
Mr. Trentham?
I need to say a word to you, Mr. Holmes.
Yes?
You've met Jack Casper, the fellow traveling with us?
Yes.
I took him on 5 years ago as a salesman. Later, made him manager. He brought in his wife to keep the books. Ideal employees, I would have thought. But in the past year, I've seen our profits begin to dwindle. Casper has an explanation, of course. Some of our credit customers aren't paying on time, or waste has gone up in the factory, or shipping costs have increased.
But you don't believe it?
No. I've done some checking. I think Casper and his wife are fleecing me, but I'm dashed if I can find out how they're doing it.
And you've spoken to them about this?
Of course, but they deny everything.
Well, once we're back in London, I may be of some help, but I can do nothing about your business losses while we're away.
I understand that, but I'd like you to keep an eye on him all the same.
Well, I may be of some help.
But there's another thing.
Yes?
A man doesn't like to admit these things, but...
You may speak freely. It will go no further than this cabin.
Well, the fact is, I think Casper and my wife, Eloise, are more than just friends.
Really?
Yes. There are certain looks between them. Well, it's hard to put a finger on it, but you know what I mean.
If I may say so, it's strange that you would be traveling together, given your feelings about the Caspers.
Well, at first, Eloise asked if she could go with them alone. I refused, but she raised such a row. In the end, I had no other course than to let her go, and go along with her. So, Mr. Holmes, you're a detective. Now that you know what I've told you, I want you to watch the three of them and tell me what you think. I'll pay you, of course. Will you do it?
I'll do what I can.
Good. See you at dinner.
And with that, Trentham left the cabin and Holmes sat on a lower bunk, a smile beginning to crease his face.
Ha-ha! A routine channel crossing turns into a penny novel. How delightful, Watson. How delightful.
A bell rang aboard the Dover Maiden, calling us to the small dining lounge. As we passed the door to cabin number 3, Dorothy Casper stepped out.
I'll bring you your dinner as soon as it's served, Mum. Oh, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Mrs. Casper. Going to dinner?
Yes. I'm going to bring my mum her dinner when they serve it.
Donald, really?
No, it's time we had it out in the open.
I wouldn't be throwing these charges around, Donald.
Don't you think I know what you've been doing? You've been stealing my money and you're trying to steal my wife.
Good heavens,
you're
that's
drunk.
Mr.
Jack
Trentham.
hasn't done a thing.
Oh, yes. Stand up for Jack by all means. Oh, and here's Dorothy. You fixed the books, haven't you, Dorothy?
I won't have you saying that about my wife.
I'll say whatever I please about your wife and you and my wife.
You will not. You blame everyone but yourself, Donald.
I've got eyes to see with. You think I can't see what's been going on?
Be quiet, Donald, for heaven's sakes. We're not alone.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, I'm sorry you had to hear what this madman is saying.
Oh, madman am I? Explain why my company started losing money the same year you came to work for me.
That's a lie. You made more money than before, right up until...
Oh, yes, I would have done with your wife keeping my accounts and covering up what you stole.
All right, that's enough. You want to keep talking like this, come out on deck with me.
You want me to go out on deck? Right, I'll go out on deck and we'll finish it.
Donald!
Jack, don't go. He's bigger than you.
Stay inside, all of you. I can take care of myself, don't you worry.
Stop them, someone!
I'll be right back when I'm done with this scoundrel.
I'm so ashamed of my husband. Mr. Holmes, won't you stop them?
No, Eloise, he's dangerous. Haven't you seen him in a fury before now?
Never like this.
No, Donald, don't do it. Please don't do it.
Good Lord.
Oh no! He's shot him!
Holmes and I dashed to the door, the women right behind us. Trentham was at the rail looking down into the water. On the deck lay a small pistol, and Caspar was nowhere to be seen.
What have you done, Donald? What have you done?
Confound it, I didn't do anything.
I didn't know you brought your gun, Donald.
I didn't. That's not my gun. Caspar had the gun. He shot in the air and then he jumped over the rail.
This is not your gun, Mr. Trentham.
Oh, well, it's something like my gun.
Yes, it is, Donald. See, your initials on the handle. It is your gun.
But Look here, this isn't the way it looks.
We all heard you threaten Jack. You've killed him.
Take the gun and hold it carefully, Watson. I'll be back directly.
Holmes disappeared around the stern of the ship. We felt the ship stop. A boat was lowered with 2 crewmen to search for Caspar.
Oh, poor Jack. And Mother, what must she be thinking? She must have heard the shot. I'm going to her cabin. Oh, this is terrible, terrible.
Dorothy Caspar hurried to her mother's cabin. In the lounge, Trentham sat at the table with his head in his hands, while his wife stood against the wall, visibly shaken. Captain Childs came in shortly after and announced that as master of the Dover Maiden, he would conduct an investigation. The search boat returned, reporting no luck in finding Caspar's body. Then, Dorothy Caspar wheeled her mother into the lounge. And finally, Holmes came back in, bringing one of the deckhands with him.
Since the crime was committed on a British vessel while in British waters, it's my responsibility to give a full report to Scotland Yard, but...
With your permission, Captain, I've asked this sailor to tell me what he knows.
Very well, Browning.
Aye, sir.
Browning, I just came round to the port side and I saw a rope tied to the rail, trailing over the side of the ship.
Yes, sir.
Who put it there?
I did.
Why?
Well, speak up, lad.
Well, I couldn't see no harm in it, and he gave me half a quid.
Who gave you half a quid?
Well, I don't know his name.
One of the passengers? Is he in this room?
No, sir.
When did you throw the line overboard?
When you lot went into the lounge.
Did you see anyone climb aboard on that line?
No, sir. I was below decks.
Yes, your part in this was done. Now, here is what I saw. After the gunshot, while the rest of you were still on the starboard side, I walked round the stern of the ship and saw the rope trailing in the water. There was a puddle of water on the deck and a clear trail of water and footprints leading from the deck to the door of one of the cabins.
Are you saying we have a stowaway on board?
Oh, no. We have the same number of souls on board at this minute that we had when we departed.
How could you say that? What about Jack?
Jack is safe and sound.
Well then, where is he?
Would you like to show us Mrs. Caspar? No? Then permit me to introduce you to your invalid mother. First I'll remove her hat and veil,
Hey, what
then
are
her
you
wig
doing
and
with it?
muffler.
My God, it's Caspar.
Oh, all right. You may step out of the wheelchair now, Mr. Caspar.
What did you do with the old lady?
There never was an old lady, was there, Mr. Caspar? You recall that you told me you enjoy swimming, so I presume that after you fired the gun in the air, you swam round the back of the ship and held to the rope until you were assured that the rest of us were all on the other side. Then you climbed back aboard and fled into your mother-in-law's cabin, where you stripped off your wet clothes and assumed the disguise. And so, Jack Caspar would have disappeared, the police would hold Donald Trentham for his murder, while you and your wife began a new life in Europe on the cash you embezzled from the shoe company. Is that how you planned it?
You'll never prove it.
I presume you also stole Trentham's gun from his office, or did your wife do that? Captain, will you inspect cabin number 4 and locate a soaking wet pair of Trentham brand shoes, a pile of wet clothes, along with a padded dressmaker's dummy, probably tucked into a steamer trunk?
Just a footnote. Faced with the evidence Holmes had found, the Caspars finally confessed. And Holmes and I sailed on to France on another adventure, which I may tell you about at another time. But I'll have a different tale for you when next we meet.
The Further Adventures of Sherlock Holmes featured John Patrick Lowry as Holmes and Lawrence Albert as Dr. Watson. Also in our cast were Jeff Steitzer, William Hamer, Jim French, Kathy Levin, and Caitlin Finney. The script was written and directed by Jim French. The characters of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson were created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and appear in stories and novels by him. Use of these characters in this radio series is by arrangement with the estate of Dame Jean Conan Doyle. This is Dennis Bateman speaking. Further Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, featuring John Patrick Lowry as Holmes and Lawrence Albert as Dr. Watson.
My name is Dr. John H. Watson, and the story I'm about to tell I've titled The Adventure of the Wycliffe Codicil. It concerns a case Sherlock Holmes accepted in September of 1899. September was a pleasant month to get out of London for a stroll down lanes shaded with trees turning colour, or perhaps a visit to a rustic inn where the food would be as hearty as the welcome. I'd been trying for several days to interest Holmes in such a holiday.
It will do you no good to litter the flat with picture postcards, Watson. Subtlety isn't your long suit.
Well, now, I wasn't trying to...
I know you love to tramp sodden trails and to pick briars out of your breeches, but I'm happy to say I don't share your bucolic inclinations.
Yes, but we're wasting the loveliest part of the summer cooped up here in the city, in our sooty rooms.
I hardly think Mrs. Hudson would appreciate your description of her housekeeping.
Well, you know what I mean. The grime of the city is only 1/4 of an inch outside our windows.
1/8 of an inch, if you're referring to the thickness of the glass, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going. You're free to gallivant round the country whenever you please, but I have work to do right here.
Oh, do come on, Holmes. Well, I don't see why you have to make such a fuss about your scrapbooks and journals. They'll always be here waiting for you. But the last few days of summer are so fleeting. Why waste them? Winter's the time for desk work, close to a warm fire.
Mrs. Hudson's at the door. See what she wants, will you, Watson?
Eh? Oh, yes, I'll go.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Mrs. Hudson. What have you there?
Oh, I hope I'm not interrupting. It's a letter from Mr. Holmes. A man just brought it.
I don't want it.
What?
He's being difficult this morning.
I'm being busy this morning. Take the letter, Watson, and burn it.
Well.
I'll take the letter. Oh, by the way, that was a lovely breakfast, Mrs. Hudson. I'm very fond of trout, and you prepared it just the way I like it. Lots of butter and a bit of lemon and crisp bacon crumbled on top.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Dr. Watson. It's always a pleasure to do for those who appreciate one's efforts.
Do take the letter, Watson, and let me get on with my work.
Here it is.
Thank you.
And will you be eating lunch here in your rooms today?
Well, I'm quite sure Holmes will be, but I'm thinking about getting away for a day or two. I'll let you know.
Very good. Well, a pleasant morning to you, Doctor.
And the same to you, Mrs. Hudson.
And I hope Mr. Holmes won't be out of sorts all the day.
So do I. Well, I say. Oh, Holmes, shall I burn the cheque as well as the letter?
What did you say?
The £25 cheque that came in the envelope. Shall I burn that along with the letter?
Oh, rubbish. Bring it here.
The cheque or the letter?
Watson, you're being irksome.
Here you are.
Ah, what is this? Aha. Watson, if I didn't know you better, I would accuse you of arranging this. First you inundate me with pictures of the English countryside, and now comes a letter from someone who wants to hire me to go down to Sussex. Here, read it.
Dear Sir, I have a client who stands to inherit considerable property in Sussex, but a crucial document has gone missing. There is a distinct possibility of foul play, so I send you this petition in hopes you will look with favour upon a thorough investigation of the matter. I am enclosing a cheque as an advance upon whatever fee you care to name. Please wire your decision at your earliest convenience. And it's signed, most respectfully, Edgar Brookby, Esquire, number 41, Lincolnshire Lane, Worthing. Well, the seacoast would be a nice change from London. It's a good job I didn't throw the whole thing in the fire.
Yes. Let me see. I think the next train south leaves Victoria Station at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Yes, 1 o'clock it is. But first, off to the telegraph shop to inform Mr. Brookby when to expect us. Well, why aren't you packing, Watson?
It was was only about an hour's journey to Worthing, and the train was packed with people on holiday, so the air was quite festive. A cabby drove us to a hotel, waited while we unpacked, then took us to Lincolnshire Lane. Number 41 was in a small but elegant court of professional offices. Edgar Brookby was waiting for us.
Well, gentlemen, welcome. So good of you to come on such short notice. And what an honor it is to shake the hand of Sherlock Holmes.
Kind of you. And may I present my associate, Dr. John H. Watson?
Of course. I've read many of your stories about Mr. Holmes' exploits, Doctor.
Well, thank you very much.
And now, Mr. Brookby, let us hasten to the matter that brings us here.
Of course. So please sit down, gentlemen. Well, here it is in a nutshell. My client was the late David Wycliffe, whom I have served as solicitor for several years before his death.
When did he die?
Just a week ago, on the 5th of September. He'd been ill with heart trouble for quite some time.
I see. Go on.
David had only two living relatives, his brother Everett and his son Neville. At the time he drew up his will some years ago, Neville was just a boy, so the will provided ample funds to Everett to cover the expense of raising Neville until he reached the age of 21, at which time he would inherit the major portion of David's estate, a very considerable amount of money, to say nothing of the family's home and landholding. The Wycliffe estate is one of the largest in the county.
I see. Do go on.
But as time passed, Neville began to become very difficult. He began failing his classes, wouldn't study, fought with the other boys, and when he was 10, he struck his teacher and was expelled from school. David hired tutors for him after that, but they all quit, couldn't deal with the boy. At 13, they found him in town one night, intoxicated, hurling rocks through shop windows. He was insolent, downright uncontrollable, and it's only gotten worse since then. To tell you the truth, I've always believed it was Neville's behavior that brought on his father's first heart attack.
I shouldn't be surprised.
How old is he now?
18. So now we come to the point of my writing you. Last week, on the night he died, Mr. Wycliffe rang me around 1 o'clock in the morning to say that Neville had just raced one of his favourite horses to death while he was drunk, and then took another one out of the stable to race it.
Good heavens.
Well, that was the last straw for his father. Then and there, David drew up a codicil to his will, changing all the terms involving Neville. He read it to me over the telephone. The codicil removed Everett's responsibility over raising Neville. He said I wouldn't inflict that whelp on anyone, let alone my brother. Those were his exact words. I shall never forget them. So he cut Neville completely out of his will. His butler and housekeeper witnessed his signature to make it legal. Then he called his brother Everett and told him what he'd done, and then he called me. I tried to tell him he ought not do anything while he was in a rage, but he actually rang off while I was talking. In fact, I've been haunted by the thought that he might have died at that very moment. At any rate, I got dressed and hurried to Castlemont. Castlemont is the name of their estate. But by the time I got there, it was too late. Your others met me at the front door.
Mr. Brookby, the master's dead. He's dead in his office.
What's that?
I've called the doctor, but it's too late. Oh, this is a dreadful night, Mr. Brookby.
I felt it was my first responsibility to take possession of the codicil, so I went up to the turret to fetch it, but it was nowhere to be seen.
The turret, you say?
It's where he preferred to work. It's where he had his telephones installed.
He had more than one telephone?
Yes. One was connected to Central here in town, and the other communicated to various rooms in Castlemont.
Interesting. Go on.
Well, I stayed until nearly 5 a.m. The police and the doctor had come and gone, and the coroner had taken away the body.
Did the coroner say when death occurred?
I'm afraid I didn't think to ask. Everett surely would know. At any rate, just as I was leaving, a horse came galloping up to the driveway, covered in foam. The rider was Neville Wycliffe. He had ridden another poor animal nearly to death. He was intoxicated as usual.
Who the devil are you? What are you doing here?
You know me, Neville. I'm your father's solicitor. Something bad has happened.
Oh? Don't tell me the old boy finally died.
Young man, have you no sense of decency? You'd better straighten yourself up and go in and speak with your uncle.
Then you never actually saw the codicil?
No.
You only know of its existence from that telephone call from Everett Wycliffe?
Yes, but the butler and the housekeeper signed it, and David told his brother about it. Oh, the codicil existed, Mr. Holmes. Of that there can be no doubt. But unless we find it in 3 years, Neville will get everything.
Brookby owned a beautiful landau and a handsome chestnut roan, which took us 2 miles into the country and up a lane to an imposing mansion built on a piece of high ground overlooking the sea. It was well named. It looked like a castle. Once inside, Holmes immediately asked to see the turret where David Wycliffe had worked and died, and the butler Carruthers led Holmes, Brookby, and me up a steep, winding staircase.
we're almost there. As you can see, we've propped the door open with the doorstay.
And why do that?
Well, you see, the door will swing shut all by itself unless it's propped open. Go right in, gentlemen.
The turret was a cylindrical room only around 12 feet in diameter, built out from the topmost corner of the mansion with tall, narrow windows. Inside was a small writing table, on which were a typewriter, 2 telephones, and a panel of electrical push-buttons. A chair and a narrow cot were the only other furnishings. An electric lamp hung from the center of the ceiling. The room was beastly hot.
Why is it so warm in here?
That's the way Mr. Wycliffe kept it. He installed central heating last year. There are air shafts from 2 coal furnaces in the basement that force warm air into all the rooms. Mr. Wycliffe was an engineer, you know.
I didn't know. Tell me about that.
Oh, I should have mentioned that. His father and grandfather owned coal mines in Wales, and David studied metallurgy and engineering at Cambridge. When he took over the mines, he modernized everything. Electrified the mine shafts, did away with the mules, made it much better for the workers.
I see there's a typewriter.
Yes, David did all his own correspondence.
And quite a lot of it, judging by the wear on the keys. It's broken.
Oh? Must have just happened he used it yesterday.
Mr. Brookby, I should like to interview the housekeeper, as well as the dead man's brother. What was his name?
Everett.
Everett, yes. And, of course, young Neville.
Certainly. I'll see to it directly.
Now, Watson?
Yes, Holmes.
I would like you to use one of these telephones and ring up the coroner who was here on the 5th of September. I need to know the time of David Wycliffe's death.
I did as Holmes asked, and was told death occurred sometime between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. Holmes received this news with a thoughtful expression and made a note of it. Half an hour later, Mr. Brookby introduced us to Everett Wycliffe, a tall, spare man in his 50s.
Our condolences on the death of your brother, Mr. Wycliffe.
Thank you.
I have only a few questions.
I'll tell you all I can.
Let's start with the night he died. I'm told that he had rung you up to tell you he was changing his will.
That's right.
Where do you live?
Right here at Castlemount.
Oh, so he telephoned you in your room?
Yes, I was asleep when he called.
What time was that?
I'd say 10:30.
What did he say to you?
He was in a state of great agitation. All I could get out of him was that he had written a codicil to his will, which cut Neville completely out of any inheritance. I tried to reason with him, but he hung up.
What did you do then?
Well, I was concerned for him. I thought about what to do, and finally I dressed and went up to the turret. That's when I found him slumped on his desk.
You were the one who discovered the body?
Yes.
Was he much older than you?
6 years. I'm 52, he was 58.
Did you take up engineering too?
No. I deal in real estate.
I see. Doing well, are you?
Oh, yes. Property around here is going fast. If you might be interested in a holiday spot of your own, I could possibly
I think not at this time. Just one more thing, Mr. Wycliffe. What do you think became of the codicil?
Why, I think Neville found it and got rid of it. I don't know how he got his hands on it, but he's the only one with a motive. Without that codicil, he's a millionaire in 3 years.
Yes, I've been Mr. Wycliffe's housekeeper since before Mrs. Wycliffe passed on.
Mrs. Lanning, shortly before he died, did Mr. Wycliffe ask you to sign a piece of paper as a witness? Mrs. Lanning?
Yes, he did.
How did he summon you?
What do you mean?
How did you know he wanted you to come up to the turret?
Oh, Carruthers told me.
Of course. Oh, and when you got to the turret, did he tell you what he wanted you to sign?
He called it something like a cod something.
Codicil?
Yes, that was it.
Did you read what you were signing?
Well, no. It was private, after all, wasn't it?
Yes, of course, you're right. Stupid question. But did you notice if perhaps Mr. Wycliffe had blotted the ink on the document as if he'd written it rather carelessly?
No, it seemed neat enough.
Was it quite a long document, 3 or 4 pages?
Oh, I'm not sure. Well, it might have been.
3 pages? 4?
Not more than 3, I think.
And about what time did you sign it?
I don't know what, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Lanning. That will be all. Now, Carruthers, I understand that you and Mrs. Lanning were called up to the turret to witness Mr. Wycliffe's signature on the night he died.
Yes, sir.
How did Mr. Wycliffe summon you?
By the telephone.
Oh, you have a telephone in your room?
Yes, sir. They're all over the house.
What time would that have been?
Oh, I couldn't say. I wasn't carrying my watch.
Did you read the codicil before you signed it?
Oh, no, sir. Mr. Wycliffe told us where to put our names, then we left.
And would you have noticed whether the document you signed had been written in ink or typewritten?
It was typewritten, I think.
Several pages or just one page?
Why, one page. I only saw the one page, I think.
That's interesting. Mrs. Lanning thinks that there were 3 pages written in ink.
Oh? Well, perhaps it's that we signed just the one page. That's what I meant, yes.
Of course. Very well, Carruthers. I think that will be all. Now, where might I find Neville?
This time of day, sir, he'd be in his room, I believe.
Yeah, who is it?
Neville Wycliffe, I am Sherlock Holmes. I'd like a word with you, please.
All right, wait a minute.
So? This is my associate, Dr. Watson. May we come in for a moment?
I suppose so. You're here about Dad, I guess.
Actually, I'm here to ask about your actions the night your father died.
I already told that to the coppers. What do you want to know for?
Indulge me, young man, and it may be to your profit. Tell me every place you were on that night, September the 5th, everything you did.
Well, I was having a drink with some of my friends in town, and after a while we went down by the Strand and raced our horses for a bit. Say, I don't like you thinking I was mixed up in anything.
Were you?
No! You got your nerve, coming here all high and mighty, throwing your weight around? Oh, I know who Sherlock Holmes is. I've even read one of your stories in a magazine. Well, there's no crime here, Mr. Holmes, and I'm no criminal. I may be a layabout, and I do like my drink, and I did think my old man was a bit stuffy, but he meant well. I didn't want him to die. What do you think I am?
That question is better left unanswered.
I have a question for you, young man. Why isn't a sturdy 18-year-old like yourself going to school or working at a job?
Why should I? School bores me. And why should I take classes anyway? After I turn 21, I won't have to work a day in my life. My dad's seen to that.
After that unpleasant interview, Holmes and I went downstairs to the drawing room, where everyone had assembled. Everett Wycliffe was there, lighting his pipe. Carruthers and Mrs. Lanning seemed to be standing at attention, like soldiers waiting for orders. And then Neville slouched into the room and sprawled in a chair, looking glum. Brookby sprang to his feet when we came in.
Gentlemen, we await your report.
Thank you, Mr. Brookby. In the interest of brevity, let me first say that the missing codicil you've hired me to find will not be found until its author wishes it to be found.
What does that mean?
Mr. Holmes, David Wycliffe is dead. Do you mean he hid the codicil in such a way that...
Yes, David Wycliffe is dead, but he wrote no codicil. The writer of the alleged codicil is very much alive and is in this room.
You'll have to explain that.
With pleasure. Let us begin with you, Mr. Brookby.
With me?
You say David Wycliffe rang you up at 1 o'clock in the morning of September the 5th, and told you he'd decided to change his will and cut his son out of his estate. Is that what you told me?
So that's what this is all about. The old man changed his will?
Do be quiet, young man.
Don't you tell me to be quiet, you crook. I knew all along something was fishy with you mucking around the place. You and Sherlock Holmes. Well, nobody's taking my inheritance away from me.
Shut up, Neville.
You shut up, Uncle Everett. You couldn't wait to get your hands on what's mine, could you? Did you kill my dad? Did you kill your own brother?
Young man, this isn't a murder investigation.
Yeah? Well, maybe it should be.
If you will remain silent for a few minutes, all your questions will be answered. Now, as I was saying, Mr. Brookby, you received a call on the telephone at 1 a.m., at which time you were asleep. Would that be correct?
Yes, I was.
How long would you say the telephone call lasted?
Not more than a minute, more like a half-minute. He just said he'd written a codicil and Everett wasn't going to have to be responsible for Neville anymore, and Neville wouldn't receive a cent.
I don't believe it.
And is that all he told you?
No. He said he'd had it properly witnessed, and he'd told Everett about it. Then he rang off.
Thank you. Now, Carruthers.
Yes, sir.
On the night of September 5th, you received a telephone call from David Wycliffe, summoning you to the turret.
Yes, sir.
And telling you to fetch Mrs. Lanning as well.
Yes, sir.
And when you got there, tell me exactly who was there and what you saw.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't.
Mrs. Lanning? All right, Mrs. Lanning. Just tell us who was in the turret.
Mr. Wycliffe.
And anyone else?
Mr. Wycliffe.
Yes, Mr. Wycliffe and...
And Mr. Wycliffe. Both of them were there. Only Mr. David was dead.
And Mr. Everett had a piece of paper for you to sign, is that right?
Yes.
A blank piece of paper?
Yes.
And where on the paper did he have you sign it?
At the bottom.
He had you sign a blank piece of paper. What did he tell you it was?
He said Mr. Wycliffe had meant to write a note about his will, and we had to sign it to make it legal, to take the estate away from Neville.
Who? You did that?
Mr. Holmes, these old people are incompetent. The shock of David's death has addled their minds.
These old people are perfectly competent, except at lying. They couldn't agree on how many pages there were, or whether it was typed or handwritten. And why is that? Because they never saw any codicil. But you, Mr. Wycliffe, are a good liar. Good enough to ring up Mr. Brookby out of a sound sleep and pretend to be your brother and get away with it.
No, by heaven, you're right. Everett's voice is almost identical to David's.
And so you ordered Carruthers and Mrs. Lanning up to the turret, where the dead body of your brother was slumped on the table, and you convinced them to sign a piece of blank paper, over which you would then type a codicil that would keep the money out of Neville's hands and give you the entire Wycliffe estate. But you discovered that David's typewriter was broken, so you couldn't write the codicil and place it where it would be found. Well?
You London devil! I'm calling my own barrister.
That's fine, Everett. I can recommend several good ones.
Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Where does this leave me?
Free to run through your father's fortune, Neville.
When the Wycliffe case was investigated by the police, there was no evidence that Everett had killed his brother.
Directed by Jim French and featured John Patrick Lowry as Sherlock Holmes and Lawrence Albert as Dr. Watson. Also in our cast were Lee Parsh, Jay Green, David White, and yours truly, Dennis Bateman. The characters of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson were created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and may be found in novels and short stories by him. The use of these characters is by arrangement with the estate of Dame Jean Conan Doyle. Music was directed by Michael Lynch. This is Dennis Bateman speaking.
Oh, Tabby! Tabby!
The Further Adventures of Sherlock Holmes with John Patrick Lowry as Holmes and Lawrence Albert as Dr. Watson.
And we find ourselves once more at the entrance. This will conclude our museum tour for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for your patronage, and we do hope you'll visit the Tutman Gallery again. Are there any final questions?
Who's to say that all these fantastic creatures ever really lived? I mean, they could just be dummies made up by a taxidermist, couldn't they?
Sir, each and every one of the specimens you have seen was alive when captured by Mr. Tutman.
But you said there aren't any more like them anywhere in the world, so how are we to know?
Madam, this is not the P.T. Barnum Circus. It is the private collection of Mr. Cyril Tutman, who devoted his life and his fortune to the discovery of the rarest animal life on the planet. You may have every confidence that the animals on display here are genuine in every respect. And now, I bid you all a pleasant evening and a good night. Come again. Be sure to tell your friends. Good night. $9.20. I never do get them out of here on time. Well, Bob's late again, so I'll have to turn down the lamps myself. 1 down, 13 to go. 2, 3, 4. The lobby's dark. It would be nice if they'd put in electric lights. Just turn a switch and you'll be done. There's the smell again. Odd no one mentions it. I suppose some of these beasts want a good cleaning. If they weren't dead, they'd do it for themselves, like my cat, I suppose. Hello. What's that? Is that you, Bob? Bob? wasn't a door. Maybe it was a... I don't think I'll turn down any more lights. Bob? Is that you? Oh, my God!
My name is Dr. John H. Watson, and the Sherlock Holmes adventure I have for you tonight took place in the autumn of the year 1889. I no longer lived in our old digs in Baker Street, having got married and started up my medical practice again in Paddington. But Holmes and I remained the closest of friends, and I joined him in many an investigation, with the approval of my wife, Mary. On the particular night when this case began, we had just retired at 10, when, at 10:15, a cab clattered to a stop outside, and a cane rapped smartly on our door.
Who can that be at this hour?
Who is it usually?
Sherlock Holmes.
In this neighborhood, at this time, with a stick instead of knuckles, it's Holmes of the police. I'm coming. Just putting on my dressing gown. Holmes?
1,000 apologies, Watson.
Come in.
How quickly can you be dressed?
3 or 4 minutes. What's the matter?
Murder most foul, Watson. Scotland Yard is panting to tramp all over the scene, but to his credit, Inspector Lestrade has roped it off until I join him with you and your medical bag. Go on, get dressed, and I'll wait in the front room. Wait for us, cabby. We won't be a minute. Now, while you dress, I'll tell you what I know. The killing took place shortly past 9 tonight at Tutman's Gallery, a museum in Threadneedle Street. The body, that of a guide at the museum, was found by the night watchman who sounded the alarm. I wouldn't have known a thing about it but for the fact that I was riding home from a lecture at Lloyd's when a Black Maria passed me on Leadenhall Street, turned the corner and pulled up in front of the museum. I saw it was Lestrade and he invited me in. Are you hearing me?
Yes, perfectly. Go on.
The room where the slaughter occurred is a large gallery with stuffed animals placed round a pool.
Did you say slaughter?
You'll see what I mean. Are you almost ready?
Yes, just pulling on my boots.
We must hurry, Watson. Whoever or whatever killed the guide is still at large.
Good evening, Dr. Watson.
Good evening, Inspector Lestrade.
I suppose Mr. Holmes has prepared you?
Prepared me? Well,
it's not a pretty sight.
Murder never is. The first thing, Watson, is to ascertain how the victim was killed.
Come on into the main exhibit room. Have you been here before?
Not I.
Well, the gallery looks like a jungle clearing, dirt path and all. Watch for your step.
Who found the body?
The night watchman. The victim's name is William Voland. He was found in this room we're going into. Step carefully now. Can you turn the gas up as high as it goes, Mr. Quayle?
Of course. My word, it's like a jungle clearing in here, even to the humid air. And look at all the animals around a pond. And there's even a mannequin of a native with a spear. Huh? What's all this?
Good heavens. Now, Doctor, I need you to tell me, are these all parts of one man, or more than one? And are any parts missing?
Never. Not even in the Battle of Maiwan had I seen such carnage. I shan't attempt a detailed description of the scene that met my eyes, but the room was like a slaughterhouse. While I tried to mentally reconstruct the remains into some semblance of their natural condition, Holmes made a thorough inspection, at one point lowering himself to stretch upon the earthen trail under the trees beside the pond. Then he got up and followed the trail to the back of the room and left it through a door. When I had accumulated as much information as possible from the remains, I joined Holmes and Lestrade in an office off the lobby. The man who had turned up the gas jets was there, standing beside his desk, looking quite ill.
This is Mr. Quayle, the manager of the museum.
And I'm Sherlock Holmes. And this is Dr. John H. Watson.
So good of you to come, gentlemen.
Any conclusions, Mr. Holmes?
The absence of a second set of footprints is interesting.
And, Doctor, what are your conclusions?
Well, the remains are that of one man, but some organs are missing.
Oh, my word. Poor Voland.
It appears he was attacked near the edge of the pool, but crawled round trying to get away, and then he fell and could rise no more. A quantity of bloody water has washed away any tracks.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And, Watson, you no doubt observed there is no evidence that Mr. Voland's struggle for his life took him near either entrance.
Well, then how did the killer get out? He'd have had blood on his shoes.
We will know that when morning comes and the gallery will be brighter. Also, I noticed someone's been through the victim's clothes.
That was me. Voland had a purse with £6, half a crown, and 2 shillings in it.
key to the museum and a house key and a small list of items he apparently intended to buy at an apothecary shop. The motive wasn't robbery.
But he had no watch?
No, there was no watch.
Curious. What's the name of the man who found him?
His name is Bob Pine. He's the night watchman. He rushed over to my house. I live just next door, you see.
And it was you who called the police?
Yes, I called the police straight away and came right over.
Kindly tell me about this museum, Mr. Quayle, if you feel able.
Well, the Tutman Gallery is maintained by a trust from the estate of Cyril Tutman, a world explorer who was born in a house that stood right here where the museum now stands. Near the end of his life, he established the museum to house the rare specimens he'd encountered during his several expeditions.
Those on display in the gallery?
Those and more that are in storage. Species of exotic animal life, birds, reptiles, mammals of the most bizarre kinds, many that were thought to be extinct, or which have since become extinct. He had them stuffed and mounted in realistic poses and placed in faithful settings to their natural habitats. It's quite instructional.
Many of the specimens are completely unfamiliar to me.
Many of them are mutations of rare species, and some of them, in fact, were thought to have died out millennia ago. The saber-toothed tiger, a unique species of ape, the 40-foot python.
Strange it's not on the tourist circuit like Madame Tussauds.
Call it a private hobby, if you will, that outgrew Tutman Hall, which was his private residence. And so Mr. Tutman purchased his old birthplace, renovated it from basement to attic, and turned it into a kind of preserve, being careful not to change its outward appearance so that on its facade it still appears like a large private home. And he considered his patrons as guests more than customers. It was his idea that we keep a guest register and have every visitor sign it.
Yes, I've checked it. 24 people came through on this date. It shows their names and addresses and the time they took the tour. My men will be interviewing the night patrons first thing in the morning.
May I see that?
Of course. Take it. You see, here they are. The time the tour began, the time it ended, the time he locked up. Mr. Voland was very careful about his record-keeping.
And since I see that your lobby has no clock, Mr. Voland obviously carried a watch, which is now missing.
You're right. So the killer took it.
But left the money? Interesting. So, according to the register, the last tour of the evening concluded at 9:20, and then Mr. Voland was through for the night?
I've already been all over that with Mr. Quayle. Voland locked up, went through the museum turning off the gas lights, and he was on his way through the gallery to exit the building through the back door when he was attacked.
And how long would it take him to lock up and turn off the lights?
Not more than 5 minutes, I should say.
So, around 9:25, that would place him in the gallery.
I suppose so.
And where is the night watchman now?
Pine? He was in such a state of hysteria it was no good asking him any questions, so I let him go home.
Very sympathetic of you, Inspector, but I think I'd like to have a word with him before he drinks himself to sleep.
What do you mean by that?
Perhaps you noticed his locker in the back room, the one marked with his name on it?
I haven't been there yet.
It would appear Mr. Pine passes the lonely hours by reading naughty magazines and drinking cheap whiskey.
Oh, is that so? Well, I shall look into that.
Don't be too harsh on him, Mr. Quayle. Spending the night in a place like this would drive anyone to drink.
Holmes obtained Robert Pine's address, and we took a cab into Lambeth and found the narrow old alehouse over which the night watchman had his rooms, mounted the creaking stairs, knocked on his door. The door opened only a crack, through which an alarmed and bloodshot eye appeared.
What do you want?
Just a moment of your time, Mr. Pine. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. John Watson. We've come from the museum, and I need to talk with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
I know you've had a terrible shock tonight, but we must ask you a few questions. May we come in?
He opened the door, and we entered his sorry quarters. Mr. Pine was in his nightshirt. The room was dominated by an unmade bed, sheets and blankets tumbled together. On a stand beside the bed was an oil lamp, which offered the only illumination, and beside the lamp was a bottle of whiskey, more than half gone. He took up the lamp, holding it in his shaking hand, and faced us so his back was to the bedstand. A maneuver I assumed was designed to hide the whiskey bottle from our view.
I'll be quite brief, Mr. Pine. When did you arrive at the museum tonight?
Well, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock? You're sure about that?
Yes, when I start my work.
Mr. Pine, if you arrived at the museum at 9 o'clock, then you were there when William Voland was killed, weren't you? In fact, you must have heard what happened. Perhaps you even saw what happened.
I did not. He was already dead when I come in the gallery.
No, that won't do, Mr. Pine. We know he was alive at 9:20. Between 9:20 and 9:25 p.m., he was attacked and mutilated. So if you were in the museum at 9 o'clock, you knew what was happening. Or perhaps you're the killer.
You crazy. Wasn't me. I wasn't there.
You just said you were there at 9.
All right. I was a few minutes late.
How late?
9:25. Yeah, I got there at 9:25. It's the truth, so help me.
So how did you know what time it was when you got there?
Well, right me watch.
May I see your watch? Is there something wrong? Where do you keep your watch, Mr. Pine? I wager you would keep something as valuable as a watch here in your nightstand.
Hey, you've got no right to do that.
Ah, a watch in a gold case. And inside... Yes, inside are the owner's initials. But they're not your initials, are they, Mr. Pine? The initials are W.V.
I bought it at a pawn shop.
W.V. The initials of William Voland. You stole this watch from the body of your co-worker, William Voland, didn't you?
I didn't get near him. What was left of him.
Then where did you find this watch? It will do you no good to lie, because your lies will only build your gallows, Mr. Pine.
It's God's truth, so help me. The watch was in the gallery, right by the door when I went in.
And so you pinched it?
I was going to turn it in, but the next second, I saw what else was there.
Interesting. The watch stopped at 9:25.
Eh? It must be broke.
Well, at least, Watson, this more or less verifies the time of the murder. Now tell us, Mr. Pine, when you came to work, how did you get into the museum?
Same way I always do, through the alley door.
Was the alley door open or closed when you came in?
Closed.
And was it locked?
Yeah, same as always. So I took my key and unlocked it, just as I always do.
And when you got inside, you closed the door?
And locked it again.
And then?
I went to my locker and hung up my coat. Then I went into the gallery and... I swear I knew something was wrong the second I opened that door.
Mr. Pine, tell me everything you can recall, no matter how trifling.
It was a smell.
What smell?
You ever been to the zoo? It was like that. The gallery don't ever smell like that. Just a stale water smell.
And so you went into the gallery?
I wish I hadn't. Excuse me, gentlemen. I'll need a bit of this.
Now, Mr. Pine, you saw no one in the gallery?
Nobody alive.
And then what did you do?
I ran next door to tell Mr. Quayle.
And did you close and lock the alley door as you left?
I don't remember. Maybe I didn't. But by then it was too late anyway, wasn't it?
The sky was just getting light as we left the watchman shivering in his nightshirt and finding solace in his bottle. We circled round to Scotland Yard and found Inspector Lestrade in his office, his tie loosened and his face deeply lined with fatigue.
The worst part of my job is telling someone their loved one is dead.
You've been to see Voland's family?
His widow. She wanted me to take her to see him. I had to tell her I couldn't, but I didn't tell her why.
Did you inquire as to whether Mr. Voland had any enemies?
Oh, come on, Mr. Holmes. An enemy who'd kill him and tear him apart? The Volands lived a quiet life in a modest middle-class neighborhood, on a pension from a steamship company. He worked at the Tutman Museum as an unpaid lecturer.
I should like to pay Mrs. Voland a visit at some point.
I'll write down her address.
Thank you.
So, you've been to the watchman's place, have you?
Yes. He seemed to be recovering.
And with a little help from the bottle.
Then he wasn't much good to you.
On the contrary, Inspector. He said the gallery smelled like a zoo last night when he walked in and saw the scene.
The only animals in that place haven't been alive for a long time.
The smell was present at the time of Voland's death, but it had disappeared by the time we got there.
Well, I didn't notice it. And if there was something there, how did it get in? And how did it get out?
I don't know about you, Holmes, but I'm left with a very uneasy feeling. What motive could justify tearing a man limb from limb?
What if there was no motive?
There had to be a motive. Even the insane find motives to justify their irrational acts.
Very well. Let us examine possible motives for what was done to Mr. Voland. Anger?
I suppose, in an extreme case. But the killer would have to have been violently insane to have done what he did.
I fear you've come close to the truth, Watson. There is little doubt that we are not searching for any ordinary kind of killer.
As dawn broke over London, the coroner finished his grim work in the museum, and 2 men from the morgue carted away the mortal remains of William Voland.
Holmes retired to Baker Street, and I found a cab to take me back to Paddington, where I let myself in as quietly as possible, but found Mary wide awake.
Did you have an exciting time of it, John?
Exciting. It was the most brutal murder I've ever seen.
Can you tell me about it?
No. No, I don't want you to know about it. Besides, look at the time.
It's all right. I've been dozing off and on since you left. Shall I make some coffee?
No, all I want to do is sleep and forget what I've seen.
Was it that terrible?
It'll be in all the papers later.
Then you won't tell me.
There are things I wouldn't want you to know, love. There are things no one should know. Now, do let me get some rest, and you should do the same. I'm not usually given to dreaming, but when I finally dropped off, I experienced the horror of what I'd seen in the Tutman Gallery over and over again. I felt as if I was trapped in that abattoir, and no matter which way I turned, some unknown slayer kept pursuing me. And then he shook me, and suddenly I was awake, and Mary was crouched over me on my bed.
John, wake up!
Huh?
You
What?
were thrashing about and groaning.
I was?
You were having a nightmare.
Oh, dear. I'm sorry, my dear.
I've never seen you like this before.
I've never seen what I saw before, not even in war.
Then you mustn't go back. You mustn't go back with Sherlock Holmes, at least not on this case.
Oh, but I must.
Why? Out of loyalty. If anyone owes loyalty, it's he who owes it to you. You've made his name a household word, and I have no doubt it's bought him a fortune. Such a gentle, sweet man, John, and this work is for men with coarser sensibilities. Why torture yourself?
Mary, I've been with Holmes against desperate men and madmen and every type of predator, and I'd like to think I may have added at least a small bit of help in bringing them to justice. And besides, who was it who encouraged me to keep working with him?
But not if it does this to you.
I'm sorry, Mary. As much as the case revolts me, it also fascinates me. And now the real work begins. We'll be interviewing the widow today and inspecting the scene of the crime in the most minute detail. And I believe I am some assistance in these things. So now I'd appreciate a cup of coffee. And your trusting patience. I left Mary pouting. Oh, I knew she was concerned for me, but I had to see this thing through. And so I took a cab to Baker Street and found Holmes gone. But a note was tacked to his door which read, "Watson, meet me at the gallery," which I did. Shafts of pale morning light streamed into the room through many skylights in the roof, flooding through the dust in the air and illuminating what looked like a tropical jungle. Then in the shadows, there was a sudden movement. I admit I felt a pang of terror, thinking it was the mannequin come to life. But then I recognized the figure of Sherlock Holmes in his overcoat and cap, on his hands and knees under a massive palm tree, his magnifying glass in his hand. Came as soon as I saw your note.
I'm onto something, Watson. You see all these trees and plants. They're artificial, of course. But look at the earth around them.
What about it?
Footprints made by a large, bare foot.
I can't make them out.
This display was installed several years ago and has been collecting dust ever since. In time, dust covers everything, whereas in nature, rain and wind disperse the dust that falls. But these footprints have pressed the dust into the earth, and the moisture from the artificial pond has helped them keep their form. But here's something else. There are other sets of prints, deeper than the footprints, which appear to be those of some different kind of animal. In fact, I wouldn't call them footprints at all. See? A pair of them here, and here, and over here.
Were these prints made recently, then?
Very recently. And many of them contain traces of blood.
So, there were two different creatures in here.
Possibly. Now, observation number 2. Look at the bark of these trees.
It's artificial. And they need a good dusting, too.
Yes, but feel that texture.
It's rather rough, like the real thing, I suppose.
The trees are spaced closely. Whoever left these footprints undoubtedly brushed against the trunks. I've been inspecting them for bits of cloth.
Did you find some?
Not a piece of fuzz or fabric or lint. But what I did find was this, which I put in this envelope.
What's in here? Looks like a long hair. This is all you found?
I can hardly wait to put it under my microscope.
I say, who's there?
It's Dr. John H. Watson.
Watson? Watson? You were with Sherlock Holmes last night.
That's correct. Holmes is right here, in the jungle.
It's quite all right, Mr. Quayle. Inspector Lestrade arranged for us to inspect the scene of the crime.
Oh, yes. Now I remember. Of course. I knew you were coming. £1,000. So much has happened. How are you, Doctor, Mr. Holmes? Are you finding anything?
Very little so far.
Did you see the morning papers? There must be 50 people outside at this very moment, clamouring to get in and see where it happened. They have no interest in science, only sensation.
I believe you mentioned that you live next door, Mr. Quayle. Would it be convenient for us to go there for a brief chat?
Well, I suppose so. The museum's closed all day anyway. Yes, we'll go to my place.
Now, last night you told us that Mr. Tutman bought the house next door to this one and turned it into a museum.
That's right.
Were you living in this house at the time?
No. You see, Cyril Tutman and I were friends from school. Close friends. When he built the museum, he asked me to run it for him, and he bought this house next door for me to live in.
Mr. Tutman must have been quite wealthy.
Oh, yes, he was. Shipping. Owned several vessels.
I must say those animals you have in the gallery are very real-looking, but they're not like any I've ever seen.
Nor ever will see again. I may have mentioned last night that Cyril Tutman was a great naturalist, went places that aren't on any map, lived with aborigines, learned their lingo, and collected animals no scientist even knew existed. Exotic species of every kind.
Well, why didn't he place these in the British Museum? After all, that's the greatest museum in the world.
They wouldn't have him.
Why not?
They said he couldn't prove where he'd been, or that the specimens were authentic, just because he went by himself and paid for his expeditions with his own money. Wasn't sponsored by any prestigious society or famous organization.
Mr. Tutman is dead now, I take it?
Died in 85. His estate provided a trust to run the museum and pay the expenses.
And you draw a salary from the trust, I presume?
Yes, a modest salary.
You've been very kind, Mr. Quayle, to give us your time. Incidentally, whom do you think killed Mr. Voland?
I have no idea. I don't know how he got in the place, or got out again, or why he would do such a thing. Bill Voland didn't have an enemy in the world.
My husband didn't have an enemy in the world, I can assure you of that, Mr. Holmes. We were married more than 40 years. He made friends wherever we went. He loved people, and people loved him. That's why he took the position as a docent in the museum, not for the money. We had enough to live decently.
And had Mr. Voland been acquainted at all with Cyril Tutman?
Acquainted? He worked for him for years in the shipping business. Why, William wouldn't have put in the time and effort that he did if it weren't for his respect for Cyril Tutman.
What sort of work did he do for Mr. Tutman?
He was his head accountant.
Then it was Mr. Tutman himself who hired your husband as a guide.
He wasn't a guide, Mr. Holmes. He was a docent. He never took a penny for all the lectures he gave every day. He knew more about the specimens in the collection than anyone except Cyril Tutman himself.
How did he get on with Mr. Quayle?
William never spoke much about him. Mr. Quayle was in his office during the day, and William came in near the end of the afternoon to conduct his tours. And once a month he did the books.
Holmes and I left the Voland home and stood somberly at the curb, waiting for a hansom. Holmes had that absorbed, distant expression on his face that meant his mind was churning over the intelligence we had now accumulated. I waited patiently beside him. And then finally, as an empty cab approached, he said, without turning toward me,
"This thing is more devilish than I thought. We have work to do tonight, Watson."
He was silent as we rode to Baker Street. I made no attempt at conversation, for I could see that he was organizing our next moves. Through the earlier parts of his investigation of the slaying at the Tutman Gallery, he'd been concerned mainly with examining small details, but now he had formed them all together in his mind and was ready to bring his investigation to a close. When we arrived at Baker Street, Holmes immediately took his microscope from its case and set it up on the dining table. He removed the hair he'd taken from the gallery, pulled a hair from his own head, and placed them side by side between two glass slides, which he then clamped on the stage beneath the microscope's lens. He twisted the focusing knob and then held it still.
Ah, just as I thought. Come have a look, Watson. We must face it. William Voland was not murdered.
What?
No. Murder is defined as one human being's killing another. Mr. Voland was not killed by a human being.
I thought that's what you were coming to. The animal footprints and all.
You can see the difference in the hairs. The one from Tutman's jungle exhibit is almost twice as thick as mine. It's an animal hair. and there were many more of them.
Well, what kind of an animal?
The animal that brushed against the man-made trees and left his prints in the dirt doubtless was the animal that killed Mr. Voland.
How can you be sure?
Remember that I could find no fuzz, no lint, no thread of material stuck to the trees, and yet the footprints indicated that someone, or something, had moved through the stand of trees and would have certainly brushed against the tree trunks.
Yes?
There was no residue of cloth because the individual in the artificial forest wore no clothing. It was an animal, a large animal, large enough to have left its hair on the tree 5½ feet off the ground, and it was strong enough to kill and rend a human body limb from limb in 5 minutes or less.
But Holmes, I inspected the remains, as you know, and I found definite signs that something with a blade on it inflicted the fatal blow.
There is an order of ape, first discovered in Africa around 40 years ago, that is quite large. Males can weigh over 400 pounds.
The gorilla?
Precisely.
But how would a gorilla get into a museum?
Only with human help, and that we must discover tonight.
A gorilla?
Yes, Inspector. The footprints, the hairs on the tree bark, possibly the smell Bob Pine mentioned, the brute force in the attack on Voland, they all point to a massive animal. An animal with opposable thumbs.
Opposable thumbs?
Even as you and I have. Makes it possible to grasp a weapon. All apes have them.
Well, it'll be easy enough to find out if there's a gorilla on the loose, which I doubt. But I'll send a man to the London Zoo and see if they're missing one.
I think I'd rather have Watson do that, while I'm occupied elsewhere for a while. Do you mind taking a trip to the zoo, Watson? You'll know all the right questions to ask. When you're done with that, meet me at Baker Street at 6.
These are African gorillas. Their home is the rainforest of Central Africa.
Oh, what hideous monsters.
Well, it's all in one's point of view, I suppose. I always tell people to a gorilla, a man looks frightening.
Yes, well, you wouldn't be missing one, would you?
Missing one? Now, what do you mean?
Did any of them ever get away?
Oh, I see. Now, they're actually quite content here.
These are the only ones you've had?
I know. We've sold pairs of them to zoos in Berlin and Amsterdam.
Pairs of them?
Well, gorillas are like you and me. They can get lonely. In their native habitat, they live in groups. There's always a leader who makes all the decisions for the tribe, sees they're safe from danger.
Well, what possible danger could a gorilla fear?
Oh, well, some African tribes hunt them for food. The gorilla's greatest enemy is man.
Well, I should think it would be the other way round.
No, these big fellas may look fierce, and they use their frightening appearance to scare off attackers, but in fact, they're really quite gentle.
Well, they have hands, something like a human, so, could a gorilla use a weapon?
A weapon? Well, we don't really know. I suppose it's possible.
What do they eat?
In the wild, the gorilla will eat fruit, leaves, and bark. They're herbivorous.
Ah, Watson, prompt as always.
Yes. Well, no gorilla is missing from the zoo, and they aren't fierce unless attacked, and they don't eat meat.
Quite right. My mistake. I sent you on a fool's errand.
Then it wasn't the gorilla that left that hair.
Oh, yes, it was gorilla hair. But while you were at the zoo, I found out that the reconstruction at Cyril Tutman's place on Threadneedle Street was a bit more elaborate than merely turning a house into a museum. The place next door, where Mr. Quayle lives, was remodelled at the same time. Quite a project, according to his neighbours. And so we are going back for another visit tonight, after the museum is closed. But we will both take torches this time, and pistols. Here we are, the alley door. Are you prepared, Watson?
Prepared for what? You haven't said a word to me since we started here.
Who's there?
Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, Mr. Pine.
It's you two. We're closed for the night.
Yes, we know. Let us in, please.
I can't. It's against the rules.
Ah, against the rules. Like stealing a dead man's watch.
Come on in. What do you want?
We want to go into the gallery again.
All right, this way.
Let's go inside. Now, Mr. Pine, besides this back door and the door to the lobby, are there any other doors to the gallery?
No, sir.
But of course there must be.
Holmes, look. Look at the statue of the spear carrier. The spear comes loose.
Yes, first thing I checked. Clean as a whistle. No sign of blood on it.
Ah. All right, then exactly what are we looking for in this jungle?
A trap door in this artificial ground. A camouflaged exit.
Are you sure we should be tramping round in here? Won't we be destroying more footprints?
That doesn't matter anymore. What does matter is finding a passageway out of this gallery. Ah! Look!
It's a door in the wall.
Of course. I've been looking in the wrong place.
A stairway.
Mr. Pine?
Where did he get to? He was with us a minute ago.
I suspect he's gone next door to report our presence to Mr. Quayle. Unless I am very much mistaken, this stairway goes to an underground passage between the museum and Quayle's house. While I follow it, I want you to go back out of this jungle and wait for whatever I may scare into that passage. I don't know how long I'll be gone, but be ready to escape into the locker room and bolt the door. And Watson, have your gun in hand and be prepared for anything.
With that warning, Holmes disappeared through the side door and into the blackness beyond, while I backtracked through the man-made jungle. I skirted the small pond and planted myself some 10 yards from the door in the back of the gallery. The only light was the dim blue of the night sky that came through the skylights. It grew still in the vast room. And then I decided it would be wise to make sure that the back door was unlocked. So I walked the 30 feet or so. But it was locked from the other side. My heart lurched. That door was supposed to be my escape route. I set out along the trail that wound through the trees and the strange animals posed among them, in mounting fear that I might have no way to get out if I had to. Why had the night watchman locked me in? Perhaps the front entrance was unlocked. Yes, that had to be it. But when I got to the massive double doors that opened into the lobby, it was locked. I was locked in. Mr. Pine, unlock these doors! Then I listened in silence to hear any sign that the watchman had heard me. But there was nothing. All I could do was to follow Holmes's orders and resume my post. It dawned on me that whatever was to follow, Bob Pine knew full well he had me trapped in here. And then I noticed a faint movement somewhere out of the corner of my eye. I stopped and scanned the jungle forest. Nothing moved. All was still. And then, there it was again. What caught my eye was a twinkle of stars reflected through the skylights into the water of the pond. There was a disturbance somewhere beneath the surface. The pond had been flat as a mirror a minute before, but now there were ripples running across the surface. Were there fish in the pond? A bit of life in this gallery of the dead? Somewhere in the darkness beneath the trees, the sound of a body moved in the water. Now the ripples were 10-inch waves traveling out of the blackness and lapping against the side of the pond at my feet. Now the pond seemed to be rising. Something was plowing toward me through the water. I stepped back from the edge of the pond, the gun in my hand. And then I saw it. The knobbed, leathery hide of the largest crocodile anyone had ever seen. It slithered up the side of the pond, its jaws spread 3 feet apart, its short legs driving its thrashing body directly for me. Aiming my gun with both hands, I fired into the monster's gaping maw. The shots had no effect. It kept coming. I had only one chance of escape, and that was to run into the jungle forest and find the hidden door. The huge beast was crashing through the trees behind me. I considered climbing one of them, but then remembered they were only stage scenery, too flimsy to support my weight. My torchlight played through the trees and threw shadows onto the black wall. And then, with the fetid breath of the crocodile near enough to feel, part of the wall opened. Here I am! It was a crocodile. The biggest one in the world.
Yes, I saw it go into the water in the cellar beneath Quayle's house. He breeds them there, and he sent the brute through an underground canal into the gallery in search of fresh meat.
I shot at it 5 or 6 times, and it still kept coming.
Well, if you didn't finish it off, Inspector Lestrade has armed men in Quayle's house, and they'll attend to it. Now, if you're up to it, let's take this underground passage next door and join me.
I'm surprised at you, Mr. Holmes, using your old friend as crocodile bait.
Nothing of the kind, Inspector. When I discovered the secret passageway from the gallery into Quayle's house, I expected to confront Mr. Quayle with my evidence and discover the beast he'd sent through the tunnel to kill Mr. Voland. I hadn't counted on another tunnel, an underground canal.
Yes,
I thought you were preparing me to meet a gorilla.
And well, you might have. That was what poor Voland saw last night, as he was preparing to lock up.
A gorilla?
Quail, wearing a gorilla skin, complete with the feet.
No.
Oh, yes. Hoped he'd frighten Voland to death. Didn't work. Tried to strangle him. Didn't work. Finally grabbed the spear and stabbed him instead.
You'll have to explain, I'm afraid. It's not clear to me at all.
Mr. Holmes, you did most of the research.
As you know, Mr. Voland kept the books for the museum. He began to find substantial sums of money unaccounted for, which he traced to Quail. Quail feared arrest and disgrace, so he devised a plan to kill Voland.
He came through the passageway into the gallery last night in the gorilla costume and waited for Voland to close the place up. He counted on the night watchman to be late as usual, so he knew he'd have enough time to kill Voland.
He stabbed him with the spear the mannequin carried, no doubt washed the blood off it in the pond, and put it back in the hand of the statue.
Then he drags the bleeding body over by the pond. The crocodile smells the blood and comes up into the pond and does what crocodiles do.
Which he claims wasn't part of his plan.
But what about the locked doors to the gallery?
Once we were inside, Pine locked us in, not knowing about the secret side door. Then he went round to tell Quail we were trapped.
And that gave Quail a chance to turn loose his crocodile. But the testimony from you two will help us put Mr. Quail away for a long, long time.
One would hope. Well, Watson, I've imperiled your home life long enough. It's back to Paddington for you and your serene domesticity.
The Tutman Gallery was written and directed by Jim French and featured John Patrick Lowry as Sherlock Holmes and Lawrence Albert as Dr. Watson. Also in tonight's broadcast were Marianne Dorward, Rick May, Ellen McLean, Jim French, and yours truly, Dennis Bateman. Music was by Michael Lynch. The characters of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson were created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and are used by arrangement with the estate of Dame Jean Conan Doyle.
This is Dr. John H. Watson. I'll share a further adventure of Sherlock Holmes when next we meet.